everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you can probably tell from the title, we are going to be doing a comparison on 3 palettes today. I've never done this before, but I did a little bit of research last night and I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about these 3 palettes. So, let's get into the video. So the palettes I'm going to be talking about are all from Too Faced. I have the Sweet Peach palette here. I have the Just Peachy Mattes palette, which I've talked about and I love. And I have the new White Peach palette here. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this palette because it's really not what you think. I wanted to do this video because Too Faced has been pumping out these peach palettes like no fucking tomorrow, and I wanted to see, do you really need them all? It's kind of the question here because not everyone has money to go and waste on a palette or spend on a palette. Having 3 palettes that essentially have all the same tones, it's not necessary to have all of them. So I wanted to sit down today and we are going to discuss whether or not you need them all, the differences between them, the similarities, and things like that. So for the Just Peachy Mattes and the White Peach palette, there is 0.04 ounces of product in each pan, as you can tell. The pans are a little bit more on the bigger side. You get 12 shadows in this palette. In the entire palette, you get 0.48 ounces of product in it. So that is pretty decent, I would say. Meanwhile, for the Sweet Peach palette, you get 0.3 ounces of product in each pan, but for the entire palette you get 0.54 ounces. So you're getting a little bit less in each pan, but you are getting more shadows altogether. And just for reference, the White Peach and the Just Peachy Mattes, they retail for $55 Canadian, and the Sweet Peach retails for $59 Canadian. So that kind of 6 ounces, maybe why the price is a little bit higher on these ones. In the Sweet Peach palette, you have matte, shimmer, and satin shadows. In the Just Peachy Mattes, I don't really have to say it, but you get all matte shadows. There was a little bit of speculation with this Peach Sangria shade. It had a little bit of shimmer on top when you first got it, but once you use it a bit, it just goes matte. It applies matte to the eyes, so there's no shimmer in this shade. In the White Peach palette, we have matte, shimmer, and glitter shadows. I feel like Too Faced decided to incorporate a little bit more of their glitter shadows into this specific palette because they know that their glitter bomb didn't do as good, so they kind of just want to be like, hey, we have glitter shadows too. Check them out. Maybe you want to buy a glitter bomb. I still don't, but it's whatever. There were a lot of similarities between all the palettes, and I'm going to do some swatches for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. So first I want to talk matte white colors. So in every single one of the palettes you do get a matte white. One is Peach Cream from the White Peach palette, the other is Peach Meringue from the Just Peachy palette, and the other is White Peach from the Sweet Peach. Out of all of the white colors, I much prefer the one that is in the White Peach palette. I looked up the ingredients and the first ingredient for this one is mica, whatever. Not talc, which is what they used in the Just Peachy and the Sweet Peach palette. Talc is essentially a white pigment and it just stays white and it gives more of a chalkier finish and a drier finish to eyeshadows. That is why it's kind of drier and chalkier looking, where this one is much more creamier, which I really like. In the White Peach palette and the Sweet Peach palette, I found that they both had a creamy pinky nude shade, one being Peach Sorbet from the White Peach and Georgia from the Sweet Peach. They're both very similar in shade, but Peach Sorbet, again, kind of has that more peachier, warm tone. It reminds me a lot of Peach Smoothie by Makeup Geek and Orange Soda by Anastasia. They're really nice colors. It's a good transition. Next, for the shade I would kind of describe as a saddle brown. We have a similarity. It's Peach Tea in the Just Peachy palette and Puree in the Sweet Peach palette. I find that these shades are honestly the exact same color. The only difference is that the Sweet Peach is a little bit more deep, and I find that is a similarity with all of the eyeshadows that I talk about that are the same in the Sweet Peach palette, is that they're the same but just a little bit darker, you know? Next, for Yellow Champagne, we have Peaches and Dreams from the White Peach palette. It's just kind of like this gold champagne color. Then we have Nectar from the Sweet Peach palette. It's probably one of my favorite shades. These look the same. I just find that the White Peach has a little bit more of a golden undertone. If you were to apply it to the eyes, you probably would not be able to tell the difference. Next, for just a generic warm brown, Peach Cobbler from the Just Peachy palette and Summer Yum from the Sweet Peach palette are the exact same. Like I mentioned like 5 seconds ago. It's just a little bit deeper. Next, for that rose gold duochrome, or rose with a gold flip, we have Glistening Peach from the White Peach palette and Just Peachy from the Sweet Peach palette. The only difference being is that Glistening Peach has glitter, and it's a glitter finish. Next, we have a flat peachy pink. This is probably one being Just Peachy from the Just Peachy palette. And then we also have Candied Peach from the Sweet Peach palette. The only difference here is the Too Faced one actually has a little bit of glitter in it, but when swatched, when it's on the eye, it literally looks the same. Now the last color, I don't know if I would consider it to be a color dupe, more of like a reformulation of this color or amping up this color, I would say. It's like this black glitter shade. It's Peach Passion from the White Peach palette and Talk Derby to Me from the Sweet Peach palette. The Sweet Peach one is very flat. You can see the glitter in it, but there's nothing that's like too out there or anything. It's just like a black with purple glitter. Meanwhile, if you go over to the White Peach palette, it's a black with different variations of purple glitter, but it is a glitter formula as well, so it is going to be chunkier, it's going to be a little bit harder, and it's gonna be more pigmented altogether. So those were the kind of color matches I have, and I wanted to touch base a little bit on just the formula again. I mentioned previously that the Just Peachy Mattes palette and the Sweet Peach palette were very close in texture, dryness in the shadows, and everything like that. Too Faced is pretty much known for having a dry formulation. When I tried the White Peach out on my eyes, I was pleasantly surprised. I really liked how creamy the shadows were. They do look a little bit dry, so when I got it, I was like, oh my god, here we go with the Too Faced shit again. But I put it on my eyes, I swatched it, it was so creamy, and I really liked it. Now that we've kind of got the swatches out of the way and I've talked about the formulation, I just want to narrow it down. I have a little chart here that explains the color similarities and which one has the most colored dupes, you know? The Sweet Peach palette, out of the 18 colors that it has, 8 of them are similar to shades in here. And then the Just Peachy has 4 dupes and the White Peach has 5. So with that being said, the Sweet Peach palette is kind of the best way to go. You are getting a variety of shades from these palettes kind of thrown into here. I felt that they just kind of like recycled them into these palettes. If you are looking for a specific matte eye look, then the Just Peachy palette may be the one to go to. If you have super fair skin, maybe the White Peach is something that you'll gravitate to. Me personally, I am not a huge fan of the Sweet Peach palette. I much prefer these two over this. If I had to declutter this palette or these two, I would so get rid of this. I feel like you just have a lot more options with these two. My only gripe with the White Peach and the Just Peachy is they kind of have to work together. They don't necessarily have to, but I found when I was using it, when I was kind of testing it out for this video, I had a little bit of trouble creating a defined look. This is kind of what I came up with today, but that being said, I did use a few shades from the Just Peachy palette. I personally could go without this palette. I do have a very light skin tone, and some of the colors didn't even show up on my eyes, which was really unfortunate, but I do think the formula is a lot better, so it weighs itself out for me. I do still use this because you can easily build up the color, which I do enjoy. If I was gonna narrow it down to the Sweet Peach palette or the Just Peachy mattes, I would 100% go with the Just Peachy mattes. It's not because it's my favorite. I find that this one is very true to the name. You do get your peachy shadows. Meanwhile, the Sweet Peach, you just get a bunch of neutrals, and that's something that I find really didn't make me like this palette as much. So the verdict on which palette I think you should purchase out of the Peach collection palettes is definitely the Just Peachy mattes. You do get the best color variety and you do get the most original shadows. I found especially wine color. I really do like this palette. That's literally why it was in my favorites last year. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you guys like me, please make sure to subscribe down below. What is on my phone? If you guys really like me, please make sure to hit the little notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a video. If you guys have anything to add on which palette you think is worth it and which one is not, if you guys have any thoughts about any of these palettes, or if you want to disagree with what I said, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video.